Number one, we get to number one. And this is because of just recently in my life. This, in 2025, I listened to an audiobook, George Lucas, A Life, by Brian J. Jones. And it is such an inspiring book to me. It covers George Lucas from kind of pre-George days. You get a background of the family he was born into and stuff like that. Childhood, teenage years, film school, to 2016. And I think that's when the book was released.
The Cell.
You kind of get through The Cell, yeah. But not as much information was known about The Cell then. So you kind of get a more rosy painted picture of it. But the respect and admiration... Quentin's coming, man. He's like, you put a George Lucas movie above mine? Okay.
What's going on here?
How's it going, man? How are you?
What's going on here? What's going on here? What's going on here?
Yeah, that guy. Oh, dude, he's here. He's here. He is outside, dog. He's riding up on the motorcycle Bruce Willis stills at the end of Pulp Fiction. Okay. That was a threat from Quentin Tarantino himself.
Nah, I can't do it.
Yeah, you know you can do it.
Yeah, because you're filming.
Yeah.
But if that was off, I'd be whipping your ass up and down this street.
Yeah, go.
Saying,
No way the mics didn't pick that up.
no way. All right. Well, we were interrupted by Quentin Tarantino arriving on a motorcycle, an absolute hog, because I put Star Wars A New Hope over Pulp Fiction on my top 10 of all time. Thank you, Quentin, for interrupting me. But Star Wars is... it's almost a miracle it was made.
Oh, yeah.
Listening to testaments of everyone involved, including George Lucas, that man was stressed making that movie, and it turned out good. And that movie is such an integral piece of my childhood as well. And it's a well-made movie. It's a well-made, just hero's journey film. Star Wars could have only ever existed as Star Wars and never been the massive franchise
True.
It has become and now kind of faded into. And I think it would still have a cult following.
Yeah. I agree.
It'd be one of those old movies. It's like, man, Star Wars. Wish they would have gotten a second one if it never did. Because it's such a solid film. It has a beginning, middle, and end. And if you want to, it has a world you can explore further, in your mind. God knows many kids, when they got the action figures, made up their own stuff. So, and it's just, it's got this beautiful simplicity to it that I love as well. And it introduced a lot of actors. This was Mark Hamill's break, Carrie Fisher's break. Harrison Ford was not acting before Star Wars. He had kind of given up and gone into carpentry. So, and then he does this, and then 3 years later he does Empire, and then a year after Empire he does Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it's like Harrison Ford, superstar at that point. So I feel like without Star Wars, you don't get some of the other films that could be in people's top 10s list. Like Raiders of the Lost Ark, I know, is a film that many people would probably put in their top 10. Not in either of ours, but it's great. In acting, you can always take a moment to appreciate just some of the prowess on screen. Peter Cushing as Tarkin is just slime ball incarnate.
Alec Guinness.
Sir Alec. Put some respect on his name. I remember watching Star Wars no audio. It was on at a brewery. So it was I don't even think subtitles were on. But I was just watching, and Alec Guinness is on screen. And it's in the scene where Luke's in his hut. He's kind of this is the Force, Luke. I knew your dad, and I'm not going to tell you all the details, but just everything in that scene, like, sets up. And I think without Alec Guinness, you don't get as good a performance in story with Obi-Wan later on, because you can go back to New Hope and kind of be like, there's such a deep history here that goes beyond the surface level. And I guess just all in all, Star Wars hits a lot of marks for me and forever changed my trajectory in life, probably. Like, if my cousin and some of my family members never would have shown me Star Wars, like, my cousin definitely fostered my love for it, so that's where that comes in. But if he wouldn't have been there, I don't think I'd be half the person I was today without it, because that is a film that early on definitely flipped a switch in my head that puts me to later places, that leads me to where I am right here on this podcast.
Yeah. Then we get to my number one film. This is another film. Watched it early on in my cinephile endeavor, filmmaking journey, and just kind of changed the way I thought about movies 100%. Another film that brought me to tears, The Shawshank Redemption, Andy Dufresne.
That one almost made it on my list multiple times.
Man, you've got Andy Dufresne, you've got Red, and you've got, the whole hook of this film that's really good. This man's been wrongfully imprisoned, and he doesn't give up. He doesn't, say like, oh, well, there's my life, He kind of dedicates his life to, making something out of it, even though these are the cards he's been dealt.
Yeah.
And you see that he goes into the prison and he doesn't, die. He goes and he makes friends there. And you get to see the lives of these inmates. And I really like how Red kind of sets you up with like, oh, let me guess, like, you innocent. We all innocent, in those kind of terms. And you just kind of get to know these characters that feel like real people. You get their real stories. You get tragedy. You get happy endings for some characters. You just get a little bit of everything in this movie, in my opinion. You have your antagonist, the warden, and even, he gets what's coming for him at the end.
Yeah.
So this is maybe just one of the more balanced films I've ever seen. And because of the emotional weight that it struck on me at such a young age, and because the fact that it still puts that emotional weight on me now when I watch it, it's always been my number one pick. I've never been able to say anything bad or move it down a list, because The Shawshank Redemption is one of the best films of all time, hands down. And if you can find me someone who disagrees with that, I'm not saying it's the best film of all time. I'm saying it's one of the best films of all time. And if you can find someone who's seen it that disagrees with that, I'd be shocked.